we're never going to start with a straight face.
Nobody said anything. I looked over and you were trying to stifle a giggle and made yourself giggle.
No.
I
we had a conversation you weren't privy to.
Was that one of
right
your
in front of you?
One of your conversations that's all pantomime and eyes?
Yeah.
It's all eyebrows.
It's telepathy.
That's what they do. They wait until I'm preoccupied with the pre-stream production. It's all this nonverbal communication that I'm not aware. You two are proficient. You have your own thieves' cant that you're using.
Fucking Benny Gesserit.
Hey, internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is the Dawnbringers, Rime of the Frostmaiden. This is Season 5, Episode 27, and tonight's episode is called Tests of the Frostmaiden. Not sure how many of the tests we'll get through, but we'll see. It's going to be depend entirely on the actions of the Dawnbringers. So we'll get to that in just a moment. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. First off, since we had a flurry of activity while we were waiting to go live, I owe you 3 domain dice. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. You should have seen those magically pop up above V's head. Thanks to the people, well, thank you to Jarl DM, and congratulations to Jarl DM on their first ever raid. Jarl DM, I actually told Lloyd I was going to do this, and so I'm going to live up to it. Make sure I do it right. Jarl DM. There it is. Go follow that link. Open another window and go follow that channel. Lloyd is an incredible person, amazing game master, creator of the Iskloft Viking D&D 5e setting. We use his Brutal Wounds rules, Brutal Injuries, in our Scribes and Scrolls Monday night game. So please do yourself and Lloyd a favor. Head over there and give him a follow. You're going to see some awesome content happening over there for sure. But raids, tipping $5, doing the 500 bits, subscriptions, resubs. So thank you to everybody who resubbed. I always shout out what you're looking at, who just resubbed for 42 months. They are one of our first ever subscribers, and position of honor. I think they actually have the first next to their name. Same as Tamiko. Because they're part of that elite group. So thank you so much, Goblin Katie with a meta bump there. So I owe you another.
Need that
later. So whoops, you're at 135. I need to get you up to 136. So we do a little bit of this, and there we go. You should be all set. It also kicked off a hype train. Buzz Lightyear, thank you so much. We're not even started yet, and y'all are kicking off the hype trains. So awesome. Those subs are pushing us up. We are I think we're like 7 shy of 100 again. So thank you, everybody. Where did I go? There we go. There's the domain die for that as well. All right. So that's domain dice. Now, besides just looking like cool icy dice up above V's head, they actually serve a purpose. The Dawnbringers can use those for a variety of things, such as re-rolling D20 rolls, causing me to re-roll, causing me to lose concentration, as Acerson just went ahead and donated 7 domain dice, but subscriptions to get us up to that 100. Thank you so much. The hype train continues to go up, so I need to give you another 7 domain dice. I'm gonna have to hire somebody just to manage the domain dice. This is starting to get into Dawnbringers numbers, the usual Dawnbringers numbers. But they can use these dice all the way up to 5 domain dice to turn any hit into a super crit. And they have used so many of those over these 5 seasons. And I'm sure they'll be using more as well. So that's Domain Dice. Real quick, take a look down at the bottom of the window underneath Goblin Katie. You'll see Talon and Claw, Run, Right, Play. You can add in, or rather type in, MTD Claw to check out Talon and Claw, one of our sponsors. Head on over there, pick out your favorite dice vaults, rolling trays, such as Goblin Katie's holding up, DM screens, all that wonderful stuff. Use code MTD Claw at checkout and get 10% off your order. Also, you can type in RWP to check out our newest channel partner, Run, Right, Play. Our good friend Keel has an amazing Patreon community, puts out a monthly digital and print zine that his entire brand is built around the idea of community and collaboration. So please do go check out Run, Right, Play. Okay, yeah, I think that's that. Sorry, I'm getting distracted trying to keep up with all the amazing support from everybody as I'm trying to keep your domain tomes up to date here. Remember when there was once a time where I challenged people and I said, yeah, we'll never get up over 35 because I only had graphics for 35. Here we are at 146. It's because of the awesome community. All right. I think that's it for the announcements, except for the last thing that we always talk about real quick before we play, because it's important, and that's you. We're going to talk about you for a minute. If you're out there and you're struggling, first off, we want you to know that that's okay. It's okay to not be okay, but you don't have to struggle alone. You matter, you make a difference, and we don't want you to be out there suffering in silence or suffering alone. There are plenty of resources that are available, and I know the challenge sometimes is, where do I start? We're trying to make that a little bit easier for you, and so Jeremy has already typed in the chat !help. You can come here to our chat any time of day or night, whether we're streaming or not, and you can type that !help, and that's going to bring up that link to findahelpline.com. When that website comes up, all you have to do is put in where you are in the world, country, state, providence, whatever it may be, and it will return several mental health services. So you should be able to find a helpline for whatever you may need to talk to somebody about. And it's just a click away. So please do use that resource. Go there now, bookmark it, and keep it at the ready to tell friends if you know of anybody that's looking for somebody to talk to, or you never know when you might need it in the future. So please do take care of yourself, even if that is just that first step of reaching out to find the help you need. With that, I think it's time to play some Dungeons and Dragons. I am so excited to be sitting around this virtual table with all of you lovely people, my wonderful friends, the Dawnbringers. And I'm not saying that because I'm afraid I'm going to kill you in the next session. No, I'm just feeling especially happy to be sitting around with all of you tonight as we prepare to play some Dungeons and Dragons. In our most recent adventures, the Dawnbringers managed to find themselves on the island of Solstice. Which is, as they have discovered, the location of the Frostmaiden's frozen fortress known as Grimskala, which appears to have been taken over from a long-deceased frost giant community. In fact, upon infiltrating the castle, they found an elderly frost giant, the last remaining frost giant, who was asking for a honorable death, to which Drown said, I will give you what you ask for, though Drown did take a pretty good walloping during that fight. Ultimately, the frost giant was given his... Yep. was given what he asked for. They proceeded to investigate further, heading downstairs, and they I don't know what just happened. Oh, I think the hype train just went up. They went downstairs where they found, of all things, a giant ice rink and an elephant-sized walrus skating around on his belly in this ice rink. And he basically told them, hey, look, if you go this way to the north, you're going to find the tomb of the frozen queen that used to rule this castle. If you go south, you're going to find a vault, but in order to get into the vault, you have to pass the 4 tests of the Frostmaiden. Passing the test will open the vault and will also free this guy, indicating the center of the ice, where they took a closer look and found their first mate, the spectator, known as Victor, frozen solid beneath the ice, whom they have not seen since before the ship was taken from off the shores of the Feywild by the dragon Arviatris, reclaiming her prize and bringing it, and ultimately the Dawnbringers, to the north. The Dawnbringers have decided that they are going to, thankfully together, briefly, I thought they were all going to take the different tests solo, which, okay, if that's what you want to do, but they decided to take on the test of cruelty first. And as they passed through the door, Dawnbringers, you passed through the door, and immediately you found that your surroundings completely vanished, and there was a sudden swirling flurry of snow and ice. The high winds and cold air pelting snow and ice into your faces and momentarily blinding you. You see nothing but this pure blanket of white. And then it lets up just enough for your vision to sort of clear and adjust. And you see that you are standing at the edge of a camp, its tents holding fast against a raging blizzard. You see several tents made of animal skins, polar bear and other animals, whipping in the wind. You can hear the flapping as you're only about 10-15 feet away from these tents. In whatever camp this is, you appear to have been transported somewhere in the middle of a blizzard on the frozen tundra. What would you like to do?
Drown will look around, make sure everybody is present, and then just sort of start trudging toward the tents.
Rolo is going to climb across the snow and then stop and blink a couple times and stick her little fingers in her mouth, and I can't do it, but do the whistle. And a giant owlbear comes exploding from a snowdrift and thumbles over, and Rolo climbs up onto its back.
Hello, Professor Owlbear. Alfred, sorry.
Thorgarn will, kind of look over at Drown, acknowledge that, we kind of stepped into a challenge, and he's still got some grievous injuries from the giant fight, and he'll just put his hand on leg, hip, shoulder, whatever. Oh, I doubt I can reach your shoulder. I'll reach over and touch Drown, and I will lay on hands for 30.
Drown will sort of stop, shiver, look down, nod once, and say, "Thank you."
So this is the test of cruelty. Not thrilled at this concept.
That is what the inscription said.
How do we figure out what to do here?
As you say that, Thorgarn, you see from around a pair of the nearest tents that you can see. You see a man and a woman, almost completely shrouded in bear skins. One a polar bear, one a grizzly bear, and they have the head of the bear almost like a hood pulled up and bracing against the wind. And they step forward, the woman holding a battle axe, the man holding a javelin. And they stand immediately in front of you. Who are you, and what are you doing here?
We are the Dawnbringers. And we are here to do things.
Cantriel,
We would.
Yes.
as Rollo speaks and Talmud gets interrupted briefly by the storm, with your ridiculously awesome passive perception, you notice something. It was hard to see at first from the transition in the swirling snow. But you notice that up above Rollo's head, and then looking around, you see above everybody else's head, there is a tiny glowing snowflake. It's about 3 or 4 inches above each person's head, and it is just slowly rotating, and it is glowing blue.
Kind of like a Sims thing, except with snowflake.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, then my.
Yes.
Also, if you're hearing frogs,
Yeah,
They're
I
having
didn't.
fun
I didn't
tonight.
put on the wrong sound set. I'm not using a forest or a swamp instead of a frozen
sorry.
tundra. That's okay. I'm
Frozen
glad.
tundra
I'm
in
glad
there.
I saw it in the chat because I'm like, am I hearing that?
Yeah.
I didn't realize your mic was hot. Otherwise, that would
Yeah.
have twigged.
Well, because he said Cantriel, and that usually means I need to speak, and then the frog took soup. So hey,
Cantriel's got a frog in her throat.
It's what's his name?
Ibity,
No, what's your
Bodman?
pseudo dragon's name?
Oh.
Verdi,
Verde.
Verdi.
Verdi.
Yeah.
So anyway, Cantriel, you notice that all of you have these little glowing Sims snowflakes above your heads.
Okay.
Talmud, what were you going to say when I interrupted you?
I was going to respond to the people and say, we were told there was some kind of test.
The two of them look at you kind of confused, and then they seem to notice what Cantriel has noticed as their eyes flit to all of your heads. And they kind of nervously look around. You would come
Please
with
tell
us.
me you know what this is.
We will take you to the king. He will tell you. Come. And they motion for you to follow them through the camp. They lead you past a few tents, all of these tents, wind whipping around. As you pass by the tents, one thing you notice is that there are men and women and children peering out, bundled in furs. You don't see fires. You see people huddling inside these animal skin tents. As you pass by tent after tent, you also pass by a couple of tents that appear to be empty until you're finally brought first past a tent that has an awning that's held with a couple of sturdy poles that the wind is certainly testing their strength. There is a table underneath this awning that's drifting partially with snow, but there is a woman in furs who has hanging from this awning, there's a thick leather strap, and they have a few knives laid out in front of them on this table, and you just hear you can barely hear it over the wind, but you hear the as they're sharpening across these various leathers. And you're brought to a tent right next to this, where standing just outside of the tent, there are 4 elderly individuals. They are where we go here. They are 3 men and a woman. They appear, they're all human, and these elderly individuals look to be anywhere from early 60s to 80s. The man and the woman stop at the opening to this larger tent, and they pull open the entrance to this tent and motion you inside. Do you all go in?
Yep.
As you all enter into the tent, the 2 individuals step just inside, but stay near the door. They speak to the far side of this tent. In this tent, there is a small fire burning. There's a little bit of warmth in here. There is a very large human man with polar bear furs across him. Next to him rests a massive battle axe. But as he sits there in this, what could be described as a throne, this large wooden chair, you can see that he is a man who looks to be well built, well muscled, but his eyes are sunken, his skin is sallow. He looks like somebody who is muscular but has lost recently quickly some of that muscle. The 2, one of the man that has been speaking all along speaks across and says, "We found them outside the tent, outside the encampment, just standing there." He looks at all of you. "Why have you come here? To the Bear Tribe, emissaries of the Frostmaiden."
I don't know that I would use the word emissaries of the Frostmaiden. Your Highness.
We have come to undertake the test of cruelty.
Exactly that.
You are clearly emissaries of the Frostmaiden. You bear her sigils above your head.
Please tell me the snowflake stays geosynchronously orbiting above your crown of your head, so it moves every time I look to try to see it.
Absolutely. You cannot see your own snowflake. Nor can you feel them, for that matter, if you try reaching up there.
My arms were short, so it's kind of like a T-Rex.
You say the test of cruelty.
Yes, please.
It is fitting, then, that you should come here. I am King Gundvold Halragsson, King of the Bear Tribe. I do not know of any test that you speak of, but the Frostmaiden and her ways have been particularly cruel to us of late. In the last few months, we've lost a large portion of our tribe to the dark Shardle crystal. Our hunters have become lost in the storm and have not returned. We can't stray outside of the camp for fear that we will get lost. Only days ago, we ate the last of our sled dogs. We are dying. But I have a plan. Desperate times call for desperate measures. You say you are here to take a test of cruelty. Outside this tent are 4 of our village elders. They have been selected to be killed, cooked, and eaten so that the rest of the tribe may survive.
Drown nods, turns on his heel, and heads out toward the tent flap.
Rolo follows.
Okay. What's everybody else do as Drown turns on his heel and heads outside?
Dude was still talking, so I'm going to see if he keeps talking.
Seeing Drown turn and head for the tent flap, King Gundvald stops speaking and you see him just sort of lean as he's watching to see.
Jake, you said that this very apparently is in Icewind Dale. It's obvious that that's the case. Is it still night here?
It's dark, but more of a dark gray. It's daytime, but you're in the midst of a blizzard. So it has that.
Oh, that's fair. Okay.
Yeah. You can't see sky. I mean, you're in a snowstorm, so everything is
right.
Not the dark of night, but it's the dark of a storm.
Okay, that's fair. I think Talmud's gonna follow Drown outside as well.
He's not like running or anything, so if anybody wanted to stop him or say anything.
I mean, it's more like just turning and walking 6 feet out the exit of the tent.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it was a bigger pavilion or something like that. That's fine. Drown saw the writing on the wall and the sharpening of the knives. And
all right, Drown heads outside. Talmud follows. Thorgarn, Cantriel, and Rolo as well. Thorgarn and Cantriel. What are the two of you doing?
What makes you think this is going to be a solution?
We need food if we are to survive. We don't know when our hunters will return, if they will return.
What if they don't? Are you just going to keep eating your people?
If that is what we must do to survive, then that is what we will do. You speak of tests, of cruelty. Have you lived on the tundra? Have you had to go days or weeks without food?
I've known hunger.
Have you been hungry, or have you known hunger?
I have known hunger.
You're a fat-looking dwarf. It doesn't look like you've missed many meals of late.
Of late, no, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I don't have a past. Life is not feast or famine.
Here on the tundra it is. We can't hunt animals. We can't find what we need for fires to keep warm. We will die. We have lived this long.
Pick up and you move on. You go where the food is. You go where the shelter is, where the fire is.
Are you telling King Gunvald Halriksson how to be a nomad? We know how to traverse the lands of the tundra. But in this blizzard, we can go nowhere until it clears. So we do what must be done.
Sure, take your way out. But I don't see a king eating his people, calling himself a king for very long. I'll walk outside.
All right. Drown, you were leading the way outside.
Yep.
What are you doing?
So those four
Cantriel hasn't
elders-
left
Oh.
yet. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Cantriel, what are you doing?
She's going to eye the king and just sort of give him a quick up and down look, sort of like taking in his form and stature. Funny. You, the rule of your people, saying you're making the best decision for them. One who might have more to offer his people is providing probably the least viable means, if this is the route you really want to go, of sustenance. I don't see a king, I see a coward. And she turns on her heel and walks out.
All right, Drown. What are you doing?
So, yeah, as Drown heads out, you said there were 4 elderly people. Were they restrained or tied up, did you say?
They're not.
They're not. All right. Drown reaches into his coat and draws out the Goliath-style dagger that he got from the Scrimshander.
Talmud's going to put his hand on Drown's forearm. What are you doing, big guy?
I'm going to kill the 4 so they can eat them.
Well, don't you think that maybe we should talk about this first? I mean,
If you
it's
wish.
kind of a hasty action to take, don't you think?
You think there is some other task we are set upon a test of cruelty by the Frostmaiden? She who freezes creatures, collects them for their beauty.
What if this doesn't solve our test?
Then we will try something else. Do you have a reason to think it won't? Or do you merely wish not to participate?
These people don't seem against the idea of dying. They seem willing. Is killing them actually an act of cruelty? Is saving these people of this tribe cruelty? Surely the Frostmaiden isn't concerned with us stopping cruelty. Surely she's looking for the opposite.
Ola think sometimes living in hard places is hard. The cruelty isn't ours. It's the world's.
And what you must do to survive it.
Anybody who would like to, that's standing here facing these 4 elders, can make an insight check.
Yes, please.
14.
19.
9.
Thorgarn. As this conversation has been happening, and you sort of come out at the tail end of this conversation, seeing Talmud talking to drown with a blade in hand. And Talmud, you notice this as well. The look on the elder's face, particularly as they flinch when Drown draws the blade, tells you they are not willing participants in this. This is not... this doesn't look like they are standing there proudly upholding a tradition or anything like that. But also both of you, because you got an 18 and a 19 on your insight, you notice that standing over near the tent, just a few feet away, where the individual sharpening knives in preparation, you see that there is another figure, a woman. She has a staff with skulls hanging on it. She has the look of either a magic user or a shaman of some type. And she is not hiding from all of you, but she is watching you very closely.
Look, these aren't willing. We're not given any parameters as to what this test is. I don't know what the rest of you think. Cruelest thing I could do here would be to just walk away. Let them solve their own problems. Let them have to deal with whatever this is.
They will solve their own problems. They were sharpening knives. At least some of them have no compunction about doing this.
That won't solve anything. Some will die, some will live for the time being. They will eventually.
This is not a test of solution. This is a test of cruelty. You must put aside your own values and uphold those of the Frostmaiden if you wish to pass. I understand if you do not wish to do this.
Is it a test of cruelty or a test of overcoming it? That was never clarified.
I can't imagine the Frostmaiden would care if we can overcome cruelty.
Frostmaiden put tests to get what we need to keep people like us out. Yes?
Makes sense. Yes.
So she would give solution that fight our nature. Yes?
That also stands to reason.
My nature would be to assist these people. Go out through the blizzard, find that which they need.
That is compassion, not cruelty.
The opposite would be to do nothing.
Nothing is nothing.
Taking no action is not a choice. It is an escape.
Well, do we have anything beyond just slitting these throats of unwilling elderly people that are barely going to give the rest of the tribe any kind of sustenance?
That king would feed a lot more bellies than these would.
Yes, I pointed that out to him before I left.
But if an act of cruelty is what we need to pass this test, then maybe you're right, Drown. Just understand that this is no mere test. Whatever happens here, it's going to stay with us forever. And if this is the solution to this test, then I want no part of it. And he'll let Drown's arm go and turn around and walk away.
Well, I think the cruelty is what Frostmaiden put us into.
I'll
This
walk over.
must be on test.
I'll walk over and stand next to Talmud and try to occupy his mind, his ears, his eyes. Possibly a distraction for myself as well. But more to help out my cousin.
So Drown will look over at Rollo and Cantriel.
Rollo crawls over to Drown.
Rollo has been alone many times and knows how hard it is, even when you say it is not. You're not alone.
He looks back at the four elders and then back to the rest of you and says, "I can do this. I won't if you wish me to stop."
I want to find out more before we take action, quite frankly.
Very well.
From the opening of the tent where King Gunvald has apparently followed you, Cantriel, a few feet away. What more is there to find out?
I still have my little Meduder things that bind people, correct?
You do.
Manacles.
I mean, as far as I know, you do.
Yeah, she throws that
Iron
around
bands.
the king.
Okay.
You're going to stay put.
You need to make a attack.
Right.
A ranged attack.
Mhm.
Oh, we're about to have to kill more people.
That
I literally just typed in our chat. I guess we can kill all of them.
What's up, great mind?
that's a 26.
Okay. So you send this little ball of iron bands hurtling towards him about 6 feet away. And before he can even react, the bands expand out, wrapping around him, and they begin to enclose him. Remind me, what is the strength DC to break free of these? I think it's 20.
One moment, please.
Yep,
But
20.
while this is happening, Drown is kind of sizing up the king and gauging how much meat he might yield versus the four other
It's
people.
already more than the 4.
Did you say it's 20?
Yep.
Okay. Here we go. As the bands begin to constrict around him, you see his muscles tensing up and he's pressing against the bands. He rolls a 24.
Oh,
Not if you reroll.
All right, so it's 2 to reroll in this game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He rolls a 14. He's going to use his Indomitable ability and re-roll that.
That's only for
Oh
saving,
no, that's a
right?
saving throw. He is not going to do that. He strains against them and cannot break free of them.
Oh, good, because then she's going to tug him by his ear and pull him over to the 4 elders and make him sit down like a good little boy. Out in the cold.
You're going to need to make a strength athletics check to be able to pull him. With disadvantage, I have rolled a 25.
Cool.
Can she give herself bardic inspiration?
There's a certain type of bard I think you have to be.
No, I know. I'm kidding. Okay, that's not sheer strength is not her strong suit. That is an 11.
Yeah, I mean, even though you've got him all bound up in these iron bands, they're just wrapping around his upper torso, his arms kind of tight to his chest. He looks down at you. You think you are the first person to suggest that I should be the one to feed the people. If
Not
I
if there are
die,
other intelligent people.
if I die and they eat me, who then will lead them? For 15 seasons, I have led the bear tribe. You think this is the first time we've been faced with this decision?
Rolo turns to the elder people.
Rolla wonder if you think, as elders, it's wiser to eat you or eat king?
They kind of look at him, their eyes wide, and you see them kind of looking around, and at this point, more of the tribesfolk have come out of their tents and are sort of starting to circle around. And the woman that was sharpening the knives is no longer sharpening knives. She's got two very large knives in her hands. And they kind of look over at this shaman woman, and one of them speaks back to you. It is not how, well, perhaps, to die. But this is what our king has decided.
Your king, not your people.
Our king is the voice of our people.
You have your own voice.
Cantriel, you notice that as he's speaking, he's constantly looking over your shoulder at this shaman.
She'll like turn towards the shaman. Something tells me the king is not the only one with opinions.
She steps forward. I have advised the king the best course of action. These elders, they will die in the blizzard anyway. We are just speeding the process.
How
so
old
that the
does
rest
she
of
look?
us can survive. She looks to be maybe in her early 30s.
Okay.
So has the
Claim
the
codicil
tenor
white.
changed, or the dwarf still off to the side?
That's up to you. You two stepped off to the side, but I would imagine you would notice that more people are closing in, and glancing over, you would see that Cantriel has entangled or restrained the king.
So Thorgarn will kind of step away from Talmud for a moment. See some of the tail end of the conversation with this shaman. And he'll look to the collected people gathering. You know, not looking at the elders, not looking at the shaman, not looking at the king. All right, fine. He has led you for a long time. He has led you to this. He feels that the best course of action is to slaughter those that you once revered, to cook and eat so that you might live another day. He asks, if we kill him, who will lead this tribe? Is there one among you that has the fortitude to make the proper decisions for this tribe?
Make a persuasion or intimidation roll, your choice.
Well, they wind up being the same thing, so I'm going to roll a die and see what happens. Wow, that is going to be a 16.
The shaman looks around, looking at the people of the bear tribe. They seem to be listening to you. The woman who was sharpening the knives, who holds two very large, sharp knives in her hands, steps forward from under the awning. If Gunvald, if King Gunvald is no longer tribe leader, then I, Svil Brackhild Foranol, take his place.
Is there any that would contest this?
Everyone kind of starts looking around at each other. The shaman is kind of looking back and forth between the bound up king and Svil Brackhild. They're just looking back and forth, and people start shaking their heads. She says, none will contest this.
So I go over to where Cantriel was trying to pull on the king, and I'll try pulling him over.
Wait. Question? What is your opinion of solution?
To the woman with the two big knives.
If you kill King Gunvald, I take over as tribe leader.
Right.
And
what do you think about eating people?
My first order as the new chieftain would be to carry out King Gunvald's last command.
That's what Rollo thought.
Drown just nods once.
She kind of looks, she almost shrugs, holding the two knives that she was sharpening. It can't pass without notice that the front of her hides are caked in dried blood.
Have you done this before?
Days ago, I was the one who butchered the last of the sled dogs. It has been 2 full seasons since the last time we had to eat some of our own. There was a period of almost 2 months. The Frostmaiden was angry with all of us. We lost a lot of people to the storms, to the blizzards, before we had to eat them to survive. Why did the Frostmaiden send you to us? I heard you say something of a test of cruelty. Is your act of cruelty to interfere in our way of life? To come here from the Frostmaiden knows where and tell us how we are to live in our home?
Rolo looks to Thor, everybody else.
My opinion has not changed.
If you don't
But
if you
as
don't
Rolo
want to
said, I am not alone.
if you don't want to kill our elders, don't. We don't want you to kill King von Gunvald. He is a good leader. He makes the difficult decisions. You came to us out of the blizzard, wearing the mark of the Frostmaiden. Keep walking back into the blizzard from where you came. Leave us to live our lives how we choose to live them. And release our king. Or kill him. It will change nothing.
You're muted.
I'm just saying I'm not there. Like I walked away. I can't say anything.
Well, I mean, you certainly could have pulled back in after Thorgarn stepped away from you.
Nah, he doesn't want anything to do with this mess.
Do we wish to claim the codicil of white or not?
At this point, there's about what looks to be 20 people. Men, women, children, all more or less surrounding you all. Nobody's really standing there threateningly, but they're closing in, just waiting to see what is going to happen. By this point, maybe a half hour's gone by.
Whatever we do, we're not going to make a change here.
Clearly not. She'll walk over to the king and she'll mutter under her breath, and the bands will release. And she'll pick it back up.
So Thorgarn will go over to Drown. You're okay with this?
It is a matter of survival. I understand why they are making the decision that they are, and choosing the weakest among them to fall first. Would I do this if it were my own choice and nothing else? No. I would let them all starve.
I am more concerned for the after. How will this affect you?
How many people have I killed?
There is an absolute difference between killing someone in a fight and slitting someone's throat.
I appreciate your concern for me. But again, I ask, do we wish to claim the codicil of white? If we do, then I think we must pass this test. I understand that you and Talmud do not like it. I sympathize.
So rather than walk away, I will stand by your side. You definitely see like there's the lump in his throat. He is very uncomfortable.
I understand if you want to take no part in this. I am happy to carry this burden for you as I do for Talmud.
But if it is we, then must we all do something?
I don't know. As was pointed out earlier, we were not explained the rules.
There are more of them than there are. Or there are fewer of them than there are of us. So it would stand to reason that not each of us has to take part, just that it must be done.
I will at least bear witness. I will not look away, as this is our task. I will not.
Would you rather they be awake or sleeping?
Are you asking Drown?
Both.
Oh, Drown shakes his head and says, I do not care. In any event, I will make it swift.
Everybody continues to stare at all of you, including King Gunvald, the four elders, the shaman, Silbrechild, who is now closer.
What are the elders doing? Like, are they
Shivering.
Are they crying?
No.
Why did I ask that?
You wanna talk about a test of cruelty? We're doing
Right?
this in front of them.
Yeah, you're standing right in front of them, debating who and how and whether or not you're going to kill them.
Rolla will cook whoever goes first!
Should we make like a cut across or like a cut down? What do you think we should butcher first?
and do you butcher the one as soon as they start,
Mhm.
dying, so that the others get to see?
The cheek is the tender part.
Which one? Never mind.
Oh, and I don't have sleep anymore. I forgot I took that off the spell list.
Right.
Isn't the thigh meat what you should be going after? I mean, that's
All right. We're letting discomfort derail us, I think.
The coping mechanism.
Yeah. So Drown will just sort of take one last look around at everyone and give them a chance to object if they want. And assuming nobody does, he turns and heads over to the four, and without a word, dispatches.
There is no resistance from them. I imagine Drown moves quickly once he makes the decision, moving down the line. Talmud.
He moves with the practiced precision of someone who has hunted and killed and
Yeah. And
procured his own food and
yeah, I'm not gonna make you make a roll. I'm not gonna how do you want to do this or any of that kind of stuff.
Right.
It's
No, I'm not gonna.
The decision is made and you
describing
do
any
it.
details.
And what happens in this moment, you almost become detached after the first one, as the decision's already been made and you're going through the motions. And the snow, the wind, the blizzard, everything picks up. assholes. Don't narrate a serious scene and look at your side chat.
Do it.
But Thorgarn stays by your side as you go over to them. He's looking at each of the faces as they're dispatched.
Rolo's standing with you as well, but is sort of also detached.
Talmud sort of moved away, sort of no part of this. Cantriel, did you stay with the others or did you move over by Talmud?
She went to Talmud.
Cantriel and Talmud, you notice that as Drown carries out the deed, the snowflake symbol above your head dissipates. All of you are caught up in a swirling mass of snow and wind, pelting ice, as you find yourself standing inside a 10-foot wide and 20-foot long alcove on the other side of the door you opened. The test of cruelty is complete.
Anything in here, or is it just kind of
Nope.
an empty stretch of hall?
Nope, it's just an empty room. Behind you leads back out into the big rink where the Ukoma, I think was his name, the giant walrus. Walrus? What the heck is a walrus? The giant walrus is just sort of in a stark contrast to what just happened. Is playfully sliding around on the ice.
Amazing.
Talmud,
So Drown will just kind of look down and wipe the blade clean on the inside.
that's
of the
yeah.
Yeah, I was
sleeve
about
of
to
his coat.
ask if there was an after effect, like blood or.
Yeah, that's Talmud wanted to inspect Drown's
Oh
knife.
well, I guess I'm assuming there's blood on the knife.
There is.
Okay.
Okay, that answers.
Yes, there is no
Talmud's
doubt.
question.
That answers many questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is
That
no
was
doubt
real.
that this was real.
Oh, good.
The remaining tests
Drown.
remain. I can
Rolo
words
reached up.
tonight.
Oh wait, they await.
Wait.
Rolo reaches up and pats Drown's hand.
You did hard thing, so that others did not have to.
Survival is always hard, and he kind of tucks the knife back away on inside his coat. Which test next, then?
Maybe something light.
I don't think any of these are going to be done.
What were the four? What were the three remaining?
The remaining are endurance, isolation, and preservation.
Endurance probably just tests our physical limits. That sounds lighter than others.
Endurance, then?
Sounds great. Wonderful.
Well, if we're gonna do an endurance thing after all of that, do we need a moment?
What were the other options? There was preservation and
Isolation.
Isolation.
isolation. None of these are light.
No. They are terrible options.
The Frostmaiden is a terrible goddess.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Drown. Give them back.
I do not know how.
Sorry, I'm just trying to. Yeah. So
It's okay. It's how you can deal with things.
do we want to take a moment, or do we want to just push on?
Take all the time you need.
Is the walrus still flailing around.
Every once in a while, he sort of, you hear the
Oh my god, he gets a running start. It's amazing.
I'm just picturing the doorway, and you just see.
that pretty much.
Blowed out his whiskers.
Occasionally digs his tusk in to do a little 360, and now that you know he's there, you occasionally see as he skates right over top of where Victor is encased in the ice.
Is there another room besides this test room that we've gone through and like down here? Like it's empty?
What do you mean?
This
You
is shaped like a big snowflake, right?
It's shaped like a giant snowflake. You came down a set of stairs sort of right into this rink between the north and northwest spokes.
And Thorgarn is going to go into the stairwell, and even if he's got to like sit his butt on the stairs, he's just going to take a few minutes, and he's got a friggin' arsenal of weapons, and he's just going to silently, go through like one of the, prayers or hymns or whatever you want to call it to Moradin, and he's just going to take a moment and inspect every inch of the weapons, not engage in any kind of conversation. He'll absolutely ignore anybody that comes over and talks to him. But he needs to re-get his focus. That was not anything he wanted to do. He knew going into a test of cruelty was not going to be all, bells, whistles, and flowers, but was not expecting that. And after he's, composed himself, put everything back in his pack and got everything back at the ready, without a word, he'll, come back to the group.
Yeah, Drown just sort of settles into his stance, kind of crosses his arms over his chest, and just sort of waits unless anyone else has anything they want to say.
Rolo just goes over and sits at Cantriel's feet.
She scoops her up right away.
And she snuggles in.
You okay?
Not when it's the innocents, no.
Rolo understand. Test was well named.
Let's get to killing this bitch.
Yes! That is great idea! Ready to endure?
Well, one more hug.
Okay.
She like snuggles in and like nuzzles and just gets all up in there.
You're a very good person.
Yes, well, I have my moments.
Of course, you're dragon touched.
Do you know how badly I wanted to breathe fire on that king?
Oh, I know. I wanted to fireball him and his hat.
Mm-hmm. Instant roast right there. Trussed up and everything.
Would have been. No, Rolo don't want to go down that road.
No.
It's ugly situation. Hopefully ugliest we face, and we got it out of way.
And hopefully we're the last.
And hopefully, with her gone, that need not happen anymore.
Exactly.
And Rolo will spend the rest of the time just curled up and like pawing at her hair every once in a while.
Oh yeah, because she's got like those crystals and stuff and the beads and whatever.
Yeah.
So
Hey, there's another domain die for you. We just got rated by the real Rockton. I'm trying to say his name with his channel name. Thanks for the raid. There's a domain die for you.
Yay!
Thank you.
All right.
I think Talmud is standing next to the door for the test that they've agreed for next, like the endurance door, and he's just kind of standing there, like leaning on the haft of his maul with kind of the head resting on the ground, just kind of staring off into nothing. Just kind of that 1,000-yard stare. Just not really saying much, just waiting.
As far as his demeanor goes, Drown honestly doesn't seem at all different from how he always does. And as soon as people start moving, he just sort of lets his arms uncross and heads toward the door.
Rolo scampers behind him.
Who amongst you opens the door?
Thorgarn will do it.
As you open the door and step inside, your surroundings immediately vanish in a flurry of snow and ice. You're temporarily blinded, just like before. But this time, the snow and ice blows away. You find yourself standing again in a raging snowstorm, not quite as intense as this blizzard was. Your visibility is a little further, but you are standing at the edge of what appears to be a different tribe's camp. But this camp is in the process of being dismantled. You see people rushing to and fro, tearing down tents, packing up things, loading sleds, preparing sled dogs. They're working feverishly to tear down these tents and pack them all. Suddenly, about 4 or 5 of them seem to have noticed you. They do double takes, quickly drawing weapons.
It's okay. It's only Rolo and the Dawnbringers.
A tall man wearing elk skins and a headdress with elk antlers suddenly steps up from where he was helping tie up one of the dog sleds, and he looks at all of you. We shall not lie down and die for your pleasure, emissaries of Oriel. Begone, vultures!
We have the snowflakes over our heads again.
You do indeed.
yeah, we're not working for her. We're working to kill her. Does that make it better?
Whatever it is that you are doing, we will not interfere with it. But don't interfere with us.
It kind of involves you, I think.
What is happening here?
It is time to move. The blizzards are overtaking the tribe, and unless we want to starve, I must move my people.
Okay, where was this one the first go around?
Here, getting ready.
This time we're going to have to convince them to stay and freeze in the blizzard.
We go where the reindeer go. That is where our food is. What? Oh no. Stop looking at the chat.
Never a dull moment. So does Drown actually
Horrible,
say
and you should feel terrible, and I love it.
Sorry, what was that, Ted?
Did Drown actually say that out loud, that we have to convince them to stay here and die?
Yeah.
Or we have to travel with them.
I suppose.
I thought, we'd just stay in the blizzard. Figured, if we help them pack up and get out, we sit through and endure whatever the blizzard is.
Whatever you are going to do, just stay out of our way. We are packing before the blizzard increases in strength. We move where the reindeer move. We have a long, hard journey ahead of us.
Helma's gonna wander over to the nearest sled and bring Garrett de Brelne down on top of it.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm gonna reach out
Okay.
a hand and try and stop him. Wait.
Well,
You said the journey will be difficult?
We are moving our entire camp through the blizzard. We travel until we reach our new location. We do not stop or we die. It could be a few hours. It could be a few days.
I have rescinded my earlier opinion. I think we have to go with them, travel with them, undertake this journey, as arduous as it may be.
Sounds like fun. How do we help?
Stay out of the way. Help. I don't care. But don't interfere. And we won't interfere with you.
We can lift, we can pack, we can move stuff.
I have a question.
Sure.
Can I make an insight check on the Frostmaiden to figure out if this would be a test of us traveling with them and enduring that, or a test of them staying here and enduring the storm?
You can certainly try.
All right.
A religion check for...
Oh, natty 20! That's a 23!
Oh, nice!
You are not sure.
Damn it.
Well, shit.
It was an extremely high DC.
I imagine it would
You
be.
don't know the nature of the Frostmaiden, and the test seems to be entirely up to your interpretation.
Okay.
I'm gonna say I want everybody to make a perception check,
Oh, boy.
except for Cantriel.
Drown's great at the 2. I have a 2.
Why? I just got a 31.
All right, well that'll work.
That's 12.
9 for me.
Oh, 18 for me. It rolled at disadvantage naturally because cobalt
Did
light thing, but it's snowy and not bright, so it wouldn't affect me.
did you have Professor Alfred
Yeah.
summoned?
Not here.
Okay.
No, sorry.
Or actually, I guess he would still be summoned because I didn't dismiss him. So yeah, he's here.
No, he's not.
Okay.
You notice that he's not around you. Rollo, Cantriel, and Talmud. You notice that there's... It's almost hard for Rollo and Thorgarn. Did I call you Talmud? Did I do it? Damn it. Thought I was going to go 2 weeks in a row. Thorgarn, for Rollo and Thorgarn, you feel this sort of... it's like when you walk into the woods and you're expecting to hear birds, but you don't. There's an unexplainable silence. It's for those of us that might be old enough to remember the old tube TVs, that you can always tell when the TV is on, and if somebody turns it off, there's that sort of static discharge, and then you can tell the TV's not on anymore.
Yep.
Cantriel, you know exactly what is going on. You have lost all connection to your mother. You sense that Sempre Cavatina is just a bow. The runes don't glow on it anymore. Any of you that have magical items or magical effects, they are suppressed.
Is the weasel here?
What?
The weasel that I got, the second familiar? And is the spirit inside me?
The Professor Orb and Weasel.
No, the ghosts. The ghosts.
Yeah, the ghost. Is it still inside me?
I'm gonna say,
Yeah, throwing the curveballs.
yeah, because I'm. That's actually a really good question. Because is that a magical effect? I don't think it is. A possession, I would say, is not a magical effect. It's not a spell.
Yeah. Would a protection from good and evil get rid of her?
I think it would stop you from getting possessed, but I don't think it will cast her out when she's in you.
Yeah.
Dispel evil and good would remove it. I'm going to say the spirit.
No, I'm just curious if she's there. and
I'm
that
going to
was
say
just
the
like-
spirit is. Who has the orb?
I have the orb.
Drown.
It's inert.
Yeah.
I
figured.
Yeah. And I would say, I'm going to say the weasel's gone too. The snow ferret or whatever it was.
Yeah. Snow weasel.
Snow. Yeah. I had forgotten completely about it. I'm like,
I just remembered.
what?
For what it's worth, Jake, the possession ability doesn't call itself out as magical, so it's not.
Yeah, I was just looking at it and I don't see it, so I'm making that call that it's.
Yeah.
The possession is still there. But yeah, any of you that have magical weapons, so if there's any effects that are increasing your armor class or enhancing your abilities,
Cold.
which means all of you that have magical means, which I believe was Talmud. Actually, Talmud, you might be the only one. Thorgarn, did you have magical resistance to cold? Rollo, actually, you did too, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a ring. Everything about me is magical.
So Cantriel, you have cold weather clothes, so you're just wearing extreme cold weather gear, so you're good to go.
I have cold weather gear as well, but like I got Fig transferred the transmuter stone.
That's right. Yes.
Lightning afterwards.
Yeah. So it's important to note that as you're deciding what you're going to do, that all of your magical effects are currently suppressed.
Can I use cantrips?
You can try.
Spell? I attempt to prestidigitate some a warm pocket for me.
A worm. I thought you were saying I attempt to prestidigitate worms. I'm like, what?
I want worms!
What? I don't know. I'm not telling kobolds how to live. Nothing happens.
Rollo looks down at her little linen shirt and torn linen pants and looks back up.
Oh no.
That's a good place to take a break. I look for those moments. You can't plan that much more perfect than that. We're going to go ahead and we are going to take a 10-minute break. Thank you for everybody who has tuned in tonight so far. We really appreciate you. I think we hit a level 3 hype train earlier tonight with all the subs and bits and all that stuff. So thank you for that. We are at 101 subscribers. Awesome. Please do stick around for these super fun tests of the Frostmaiden. She's a bundle of joy. At least you got the test of cruelty out of the way first, like you said.
Yeah.
So we are going to go ahead and take about a 10-minute break. Please stick around. We'll see you on the other side.
typing.
I was gonna say, is this guy's name Jameson?
We're back.
Theoretically.
We usually start with glitter, not glitter, giggles.
We should start with glitter, damn it. Jake,
I've got glitter on the way. It'll be here tomorrow.
why aren't we doing
We
that?
start with giggles, not glitter. And now we've come back with giggles, which is so appropriate to tonight's tests.
That
As
wall to wall.
you have all just realized that all of your magical items, including your magical resistances to cold, are suppressed. You're in the middle of a blizzard, and the elk tribe is quickly tearing down their camp and preparing to march.
Rolo literally might die.
Round.
And Rolo starts shivering.
Cantriel scoops her up and like tucks her underneath her coat.
All right, good. If you didn't, I was gonna.
Perfect.
Oh!
And because you
Trust
are,
us.
Rolo, because you are so small, you will not have any problems with that. You will be, you'll have advantage of Cantriel's cold weather gear.
Oh, yay.
So, is your plan to, what is your plan? You were trying to decide if you should stay here or go with, and I don't know if you had made a decision.
I think the last one we were leading to was go with.
Yeah. Having heard that they're about to undertake an arduous journey, Drown has changed his mind. They're not supposed to sit here in the blizzard and just die. We're supposed to go on a long ass journey.
Are you helping the nomads to pack up, or are you just staying out of the way as they finish packing up?
Like, he told us to stay out of the way, so I think I'm kind of inclined to just stay out of the way. But
Okay.
I don't know.
Thorgarn would be inclined to help.
Whatever you choose to do, nobody resists if you're helping them. They're maybe a little leery around you at first, but as you start helping tear stuff down and load up the sleds, there's a lot of people. They're moving quickly. They already had most of the camp dismantled, and within an hour, everything is packed up and ready to go.
Can I attempt to barter or trade or something with some of these people to at least get some skins and things that those of us who are kind of caught with our pants down can have something to wrap around us to fight against the cold?
I would say make a persuasion check
Oh boy.
at disadvantage.
Okay. Persuasion at disadvantage. 19 would have been nice. Let's see. That's still a 12 though.
This one might be worth using a domain dice on.
That's fair.
Got
Okay.
147 of them.
Yeah, I'll do so.
Yeah.
Okay, so rolling at disadvantage, but spending the domain die. How do you want to work that?
Yeah, do you re-roll the whole thing at disadvantage or just the die? you didn't re-roll?
I assumed that's what you all did, was that you just re-rolled it at disadvantage.
Rolled,
It's
okay.
a re-roll.
And then I just take the better of the two lowest of the sets?
You're re-rolling the roll in which you got. So you rolled 2 dice and you took the lowest. You don't like it. So you're re-rolling 2 dice and now you're taking the new lowest.
So you have to take the second option. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, that got me a 1.
Domain dice. Use another domain dice.
Okay. I'll use another one. The last one though. That's it. Okay. That's a 9 total.
You find that nobody either nobody wants to talk to you, or you get a couple. I'd say with that role, you get a couple of people that are. Are you expecting that I'm going to give you my skins and that I should freeze instead of you? You are an emissary of the Frostmaiden.
We are not.
Does that give you
We are
not?
rolling-
Does that not make you one of her people? As he points to the glowing snowflake above your head.
We literally tried to do our best to kill her. We're still on that same agenda. That's what we're trying to do.
As soon as you say you're trying to kill her, the person goes and starts walking away.
And that explains the 9.
But yeah, within an hour, everybody is all rallied up. The king of the elk tribe is gathered his people, and the journey begins. I would like all of you who have lost your resistance to cold to please make me a Constitution saving throw.
Do I still do that?
No, you have the benefit of Cantriel's.
Cantriel's the best.
You're like sandwiched in between. You get the benefit of the body warmth plus the cold weather gear.
If we have cold weather gear, are we making?
I think actually Talmud's probably the only one making this check.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Hey, so before we get underway, if he's clearly shivering and suffering from the cold, Drown will at least give him his coat.
Okay.
So that he can put it on over that, because Drown doesn't need it. So
In that case, then
at least
Talmud, you
give him
don't need to
something.
make that check.
It's not like specifically cold weather gear, so I thought maybe at least advantage, something like that.
Okay, that's right. You didn't pick up extreme cold weather stuff, did you?
No.
So yeah, go ahead and
It's
roll
just
with
his,
advantage
like,
then.
sea coat. But it's waterproof and
Sure.
good stuff. So
Yeah,
you keep
I like
some of
it.
the blizzard off.
Roll with advantage on that then.
And
That's a
he'll have a
24.
train behind him because it's so
Right.
freaking huge.
Sorry, you got a what?
24.
Okay,
Nice.
Hopefully
so
that's my best one, so hopefully that keeps up.
you begin traveling with the elk tribe in this sled dog train, and you're journeying into the wind. Snow and ice is pelting you. You're trudging through, for some of you, what is almost waist-high snow. Occasionally, there's enough sleds here that the dwarves could hop onto and help drive sleds during this time. But nonetheless, this is grueling.
Drown will sort of walk in front of them and kind of plow as much of a furrow as he can that they can follow in.
Sure. As deep as you are trudging through and making this furrow, by the time it gets a few sleds past, it's already filled with snow from the blizzard. You travel like this, unstopping, for 8 hours. There is no sign of letting up. As we go into the 9th hour, I need everybody to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, are we force marching?
You are.
Dirty 20.
Do I need to make this one? Is this for marching or is this for cold?
For marching. Or
Oh.
traveling beyond
It's
8 hours.
it's the travel in its entirety. I'm gonna say I'll let you make your checks at advantage.
Okay.
But I do want you making the checks.
Sure.
So you're clinging. 22 for
My cling. 17.
21 for Thorgarn.
Oh, and what's our your aura of protection again? Is it 3, 2?
Oh, just one.
Because these are saving throws, right?
Yeah.
Okay, 1. Okay, good.
So
Oh, 18?
sounds like everybody. Talmud, what did you get on that?
I used a domain die and I got a 23.
Okay. So everybody passes that. As you move into the 10th hour, I need another Constitution saving throw.
18 for drown.
Using a domain die. 22.
17.
18?
24.
By this time, you have learned that the tribe's leader, who, by the way, he's an older individual, looks to be around 50, quite weathered. His name is King Yarant, and he moves in, constantly checking in on his people, but he keeps them moving, emphasizing the importance of continuing to move lest they be caught in the blizzard and lost. I need another con check as we move into hour 11.
Ooh. Dirty 20. Or I'm sorry, 21.
Okay.
24.
I used a domain dice, and that's another 17.
I likewise got a 17.
I also used a domain die for a 21.
Okay. King Yarn wants the people to get where they're going as we move into the 12th hour of forced marching. I need another con save. And yes, the DC is going up with every hour.
Yep.
Oh no. Just gonna use one of those domain dice.
That's what they're there for.
18.
At this pace, we might outlast all of them.
Okay.
We've got lots of domain dice.
Drown also burnt a domain die for an 18.
I burned 2 because I didn't roll above a 10 in all 4 of those rolls, and I got a 22.
23.
An 18 for Talmud.
Okay. You are all holding up very well. Cantriel, you've noticed that while you're still moving into the wind, the blizzard seems to be letting up a little bit. Snow, you can see a little bit further. Snow is starting to let up a little bit or for longer periods. As we move into hour 13 of this forced march, I need another con save.
Dirty 20.
Also a dirty 20.
Domain die. 27.
Talmud got a 26.
Oh, wow. And Drown, what'd you get?
22.
Cantriel, you're sure now that the storm is beginning to let up. You're all tired. You are surprisingly not completely exhausted, but this is a long, arduous, test of endurance. As I need one final con save from everyone.
Ooh, good. Awesome. 21.
19 used domain die.
30, 20.
Used a domain die, 21. Or 22. I keep forgetting we get a +1. It's so handy.
Hey, paladins.
I'm used to being the paladin and not having to remember to add that
Right.
in.
It's all factored in already.
Yeah.
I likewise burned a domain die for a total of 19.
Okay.
Plebs don't add their sexiness to their saving throws. My God.
Those of you with beards, you have long icicles hanging from your mustaches and beards. All of you, the front of you, you're just caked in frost and snow. And that's when you see that the blizzard has let up. It is the middle of the night. And as you crest a hill, you begin to notice starlight. And you see that as you've emerged from this blizzard, you've left the intensity of the storm behind you. And you can see for quite a ways, even in the reflective snowlight, even though it is dark. And you see about a half a mile ahead of you a mass of dark shapes moving through the snow. As King Yaren declares, "We are here. We will make this our new home for now." And he quickly moves through his tribe, testing, or rather checking to see that everybody is doing well. He makes no such stop at all of you as they begin unpacking despite their exhaustion. And they begin setting up. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to ask if any of them did not make it.
Everybody made it, though some of them had to be put onto sleds. Some of them did succumb to exhaustion, but others carried their weight. And whether you're surprised or not, you see that there are a few children, older children, that are now helping to unpack things and beginning to set things up. A gust of snow and ice, a remnant of the blizzard, blows into your faces, blinding you temporarily. And teleporting
I tuck
you
my head back into Cantriel's jacket.
And teleports you back to Grimskull, where you find yourself in another 10 by 20 chamber. The test of endurance is complete. None of you experienced the snowflake symbol melting away at the end of this test.
It's still there?
Once you're here in Grimskull, you do not see it.
Oh, okay.
But at the end...
Oh, you're saying it didn't...
It didn't melt away like it did for Cantriel and Talmud at the end of the last test.
Ah, okay.
Did we not pass?
2 tests
I think
remain.
we did pass. They didn't pass the first one.
Yeah, I think definitely one of them has been failed. However that interpretation is going to work out, I think we definitely
I
have to
think
redo
we
it.
still pass because most of us made it with the snowflake.
Or someone must pass all 4.
Oh yes.
Did anyone not lose theirs the first time around?
No,
None of us.
mine stayed.
Only Cantriel and Talmud lost their snowflakes.
Okay.
On the first one.
I think, yep, you're on the right track. Thank
Still
you.
in this.
We got this! High five!
So, do our bodies feel like we just marched for 12 hours?
Everybody make a con save.
No.
They did.
Sensing a theme.
13.
21.
14.
24.
Thorgarn,
18.
Cantriel, and Talmud. You have a level of exhaustion. As you teleport in, you feel the full weight of your 14-hour journey. It has been well past 24 hours since the last time. Or it's approaching 24 hours since the last time you rested.
Perhaps rest after that.
So
Yes.
Yes, I think I could use a little bit of sleep, honestly.
All of our equipment is functioning again. Our magic.
Absolutely. The
Okay.
the snow weasel comes crawling up out of Cantriel's clothing as does Rollo.
I'm just picturing the snow weasel.
I just picture it like Cantriel's wearing a parka, and then like where it zips down, just a little weasel just kind of bloop.
Yeah, it just pokes its head up, looks around a little bit, and then does the little ferret dive. And then Rollo follows.
oh, God.
They start chasing one another like
yeah,
through
actually
Cantriel's
Rollo and the
clothes.
weasel start like bounding after each other and rolling over each other, and we go out onto the ice rink and start like sliding around and chasing each other.
You know who would love this? Professor!
And there's this poof of snow as this giant owlbear appears and just starts like sliding across the floor and smacks into the wall.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, Cantriel, can you put up that dome?
Rollo
of
can
course.
make a nice house if you want.
What do you mean you can make a house?
Like
Rollo
what
make
Fig
really
did.
nice house here.
And she scrambles back into the room after several vain attempts, but she makes it back in. And I am going to cast Mordenkainen's Magnificent Mansion.
Sweet. So when Fig does it, we have Fig's, what is it? Fig's Fabulous Fortress or
Yes.
Fantastic Fortress or whatever. What is it for Rollo's?
Rollo's rockin'
Redoubt.
Respite.
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 There
I
you-
like respite. Rollo's rockin' respite.
So what is it? What does this look like?
Yeah,
when we
what is
Um,
your magical
fine.
mansion look like?
And no,
It's all caves. It's
It is. It's got like a little cave around the door. The door is about 4 feet tall because, you know, for Rollo, that's giant. So everybody's going to have to like climb in on their hands and knees. But it
Uh-oh.
opens up very wide and spacious. The exterior of the house is a Tudor in shades of orange and red. And on the interior, everything is themed fire. There's the chandelier that comes down in the foyer is shaped like a fireball that is dropping to the floor. And the floors are lava shaped tiles. They're painted like lava. The furniture in there is in reds and browns and yellows.
This is your Animal Crossing house, isn't it?
It is my Animal Crossing house. At least it's gonna be. And it's very toasty and cozy. It's kept at a nice warm, we'll say like, what's a good temperature for a house? Say 75 degrees, so it's toasty in the icy domain.
So Drown will probably have to army crawl through the door.
Yeah, he'll have to belly crawl it.
Hey, Thorgarn's 311, so he's got no problem. Just got to duck down the hat and walk through without a problem.
The Mohawk.
he like, yeah.
Well, he's
he
got
like
the-
slaps the door
That's
frame
right.
on his way through.
He's got Fig's wizard hat on over top
Right.
of the mohawk.
Right.
Rollo made rooms special for everybody, so you should find rooms that are size for you. Your names are on the doors.
So with all of this love of fire,
Thank you.
and we don't have to go into it tonight, but Thorgarn's going to try and talk to Rolo about forging. Because forging, you make stuff out of, putting things in fire. I think, she might have an interest.
If he strikes that conversation up this evening, Rolo is all about it. In fact, she will discuss it with him over a large circular table where the center is hollowed out and there are flames that come up from it. And she has marshmallows on sticks set up in like pool cue holders. There are sticks and marshmallows sitting next to the fire so you can roast your marshmallows while we talk.
Awesome.
The ever important question for every Mordenkainen's mansion is, what does the help look like?
I think the help here would be a series of other kobolds that whenever they come into the room, they walk over and hug Rolo and tell her, "You are good, Erd." And then they'll do whatever needs to be done.
Rolo's respite is a place of affirmation. I love it. It's like a nice little. It is a respite. It's a lovely respite.
It's a respite, yeah.
That actually got me right in the
feels.
heartstrings. Yep, right in the
Oh,
feels.
yay.
I like that.
Yay.
I mean, you had me at s'mores, so
Yeah. I'm really wanting a s'more right now ever since I mentioned that.
I didn't hear anything about graham crackers and chocolate. I just heard roasting marshmallows.
I mean, I just assumed we're not barbarians. Well, never mind.
So everybody can take a long rest.
Yay!
Look at that. 2 weeks in a row you've gotten to take a long rest.
That's
Don't
wild.
understand.
After 2 or 3
Gonna
months
get
of one
spoiled.
day.
Yeah, that is-
Okay, you still got 2 more tests to go. This next test is a year long. I'm just kidding. Or am I?
Season 17, the third test.
So you do have the test of isolation and the test of preservation that remain.
I'm really curious about preservation. I mean,
Let's do it next.
I was going to say the
I
same thing
can't
about
figure out
isolation.
what in the world it's going to be. Sorry, go ahead.
I have no idea.
I'm looking at my
So-
spell to figure out what to prepare. Sorry.
Oh, you're swapping out spells?
I'm just double checking if I want to. I only had 17 prepared, so I had to pick an 18th.
Oh, darn.
Yeah.
Goodness.
So there we go. Okay, I'm good.
Spells are prepared. Breakfast is served.
And when everybody wakes up in the morning, as they walk out of their room, there's a kobold servant standing at the door who hugs their leg and says,
You are a good person. Can I do anything for you?
Bacon.
Okay.
and it will scamper off and come back. It will find you wherever you are in the house with a heaping plate of bacon.
Yes.
Awesome.
Do they provide just like whatever we ask, or do they like make breakfast?
They will ask what you want, and if it's in stock, they will make it for you.
Okay. I guess Drown asks for shark steak and rum.
Oh, shark steak. Let me see if we have the shark steak.
And he'll run off.
Any other fish is fine.
Okay.
And he'll come back and say,
We did not have shark steak, but we had quippers
Thank you.
and a big jug of rum.
and it is like a jug.
Lovely.
Anyone else?
Talmud's
Cantriel's
just
for
gonna eat.
tea.
Yeah.
They bring you a lovely blend of chai tea. And it's perfectly steamy and creamy and delicious.
Talmud's just gonna steal bacon off of Thorgarn's plate.
At one point, while Thorgarn's head is turned, a little kobold arm reaches up and snaps 2 pieces, and then it pops up on the other side of Talmud. Just the 2 pieces being held in the hand.
Oh. He's gonna take one and push the other one, like his hand back towards him. That one's for you. It's a tip.
Oh. And it scarfs it down very happily.
And of course, Thorgarn has got horrible, perception, so he is completely oblivious. So.
I do the thing where I
Cantriel
reach
sees it
around,
all.
tap him on the other shoulder, and then
And Rolo comes in, and when she walks in the room, all the other kobolds stop what they're doing and run over and like dogpile hug her.
You are good, Erd. Oh, thank you. You are all good friends. Oh, thank you.
I will totally join in the hug pile.
Yay! And they swamp over you and like pull you in, and it's just a big hug pile.
Fraggle Rocket.
Wholesome!
Are we ready to go?
I don't know. It's pretty nice in here.
I know.
yeah, it's
I love
hard to
it here.
leave.
You can come back tomorrow. Or later tonight. Yeah.
Well, then let us be about it.
Okay.
Easily walk out of the door.
Are you leaving?
Yeah. We head out.
Are you leaving the respite up? It stays for 24 hours, right?
Yes, I believe so. Let me double
So
check.
only a little over 8 hours has gone by. We'll say with breakfast and with the marshmallows the night before, about 10 hours has gone by.
Okay.
So you can leave it up if you want, or you can dispel it.
I'll leave it up.
Okay.
Just in case.
Good. I needed a place to put my Frostmaiden. I'm just kidding. I think you can prevent people from entering, can't you?
Yeah, I think so. I
can
think
also
you
make
can't
it
enter without your
invisible.
permission.
Yeah. Okay. Were you heading for the preservation door? Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, this is the one, just as a reminder, that only the last half of the word preservation is visible on the lintel, ironically.
That means we only have to do the last half of the test, everybody.
Clearly.
You only have to ervate.
Rolo will walk up and open the door.
I don't even know what that meant, Jeremy, so I'm glad you were like... Okay.
Ervate with a V.
Sink your teeth into the.
With a me? I'm not taking part in this.
That's right, everybody. We're all children.
Red light, red light, red light. I almost missed
Da-da-da-da-da.
I almost missed that one.
I foresee a clip in the future.
Oh
Just to
boy.
clarify, I didn't say a single damn word. Not a
You
one.
did. You just
started
didn't
it.
verbalize it.
It was nonverbal
Like
communication.
You understand there is such a thing as nonverbal communication, right?
I mean, that's what this whole night
Volumes.
started.
Plausible deniability.
We have you
Oh.
on video.
We have it on video. Excuse me, it's on video. We can go to the playback.
I am sure that you will be able to go to the MTD Discord for the Dawnbringers chat, and you will find
A clip.
where RQ Staffen puts all of the awesome clips. All right.
That escalated quickly.
Rolo goes to the preservation door and opens it. And once again, the same flurry of ice and snow obscures your vision, and you feel the same sensation. And when it clears a moment later, you find yourself standing in the midst of, or rather at the edge of, another tribal encampment. This one, there is no storm raging.
Do we see the things above our heads?
You do. The snowflakes still glow and float above your heads. And you see...
Is there anything different about the ones over Cantriel or Talmud?
Nope, not that you can see.
Okay.
It is an overcast day, but clearly day. Looking in front of you, you see there's a little bit of a wind, and you can hear the flapping of the hides from a couple of the tents. But you see that all of the fires in the camp are out, and you just hear that of a tents flapping in the wind. You also hear the sound, this sort of squawking of buzzards. Most notably, you can see throughout the camp several corpses, half submerged in the snow. The snow still stained crimson from the recent massacre that took place here. There are about a half a dozen very large vultures that are feasting on two corpses in front of the largest tent. Very similar, though not identical, to the other chieftain's tent you saw back at the Bear Tribe. You see that there are symbols and pelts of wolves, indicating this to be a wolf tribe. Cantriel, with your passive perception, over top of the sound of the squawking of the buzzards as they fight against one another for these two bodies, you hear from just inside the tent that they are in front of, you hear someone crying, whimpering. What would you like to do?
Right over to that sound.
Following her.
All right. As you head over towards the tent, these vultures, I'd say you get within about 15 feet and the vultures become agitated, and a couple of them fly up. One of them flies up on top, perches on the pole of the tent. But they seem to very much want to keep you away from their meal.
Oh, I will fire
Produce
bolt
flame
them.
and they're shooting
Firebolt
fire.
them.
The pyros are at it again, shucker.
I am not even going to. Actually, I will do this. I'll do this. What's your DC? Your save DC, spell save DC?
18.
16.
Fail. What is it? Fail. In the sudden bursting of flame, 4 of the giant vultures are incinerated.
Yeah.
2 of them take to the air and begin circling high above, but they don't come down. Unfortunately, you or fortunately, you charred the bodies that they were feasting on. And there's a little bit of an ice crater in front of this tent now, where the fireball and the produced flame, where it just sort of turned to water and then froze almost instantly. But the birds are no longer blocking you, and you can get to the tent. Who's going into the tent?
Cantriel.
Cantriel?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm following.
Okay. Inside this tent, you see that half buried under furs, trying to hide in them, is what appears to be a 9-year-old boy. He wears very little in the way of cold weather gear. Wearing mostly like decorative furs, hide pants, and no shoes.
Of course.
But he doesn't show any signs of being cold. He actually cowers further under the furs as you enter, trying to hide. What would you like to do?
Cantriel would go over. Like she'd crouch down, make herself less. Not that she's super tall, but reduce height, get more to the level of the child.
Rolo goes behind her and kind of peeks around, being more timid than usual, and just kind of watching with big eyes from behind her. And every once in a while, she'll stick her head around and then whoop, and duck back and peek out, trying to play up to the child's curiosity to make them more curious than frightened.
Cantriel, are you saying anything to him, or are you just crouching, approaching him?
More like not so much saying, so much as sort of like making soothing tones,
Okay.
like a mother would to like a child who is upset.
I would say both of you, Rolo, make a performance check. Cantriel, make a persuasion check. And I'll let you both roll at advantage since you're playing off of each other. What are the rest of you doing while they're doing this?
Well, I guess I'm observing from the background.
Gonna
25.
keep an eye out around just to see if there's anything else nearby.
Okay.
Talmud's going to kind of make his way around the tent, just kind of, looking behind furniture and things like that. And he's going to kind of loudly say, "Where's the king? Who's in charge here?"
19.
Cantriel,
25.
25?
Yeah.
The boy... It takes a few minutes. And you can see in his eyes, Cantriel, that he wants to trust you. And it's ultimately the antics of Rolo sort of peeking around your legs that you see him wiping at his tears, and he starts to, almost try to suppress it, and then he sort of giggles a little bit, seeing Rolo. You see a little bit of a smile, but it almost immediately, every time he has this half-suppressed giggle or the smile, he almost immediately looks guilty and stops. And you see his eyes dart towards the entrance of the tent as if he's looking out past it.
Rolo will slowly kind of creep forward very timidly and kind of nose at the blankets or the pelts and stuff, and just kind of scoot around and squirm under some of them and peek up at him and just sort of inch her way closer.
Make me another performance check with advantage.
Ooh, thank for that advantage. Another 19.
As you're sneaking forward, the boy pushes some of the furs down, and you can see most of his upper torso. Only his legs are sort of covered by the furs, and he holds out his hand, palm up, towards
Rolo
you.
will crawl over and kind of put her head on his palm and go,
Hello.
His eyes grow wide when you speak. Hi.
What's your name?
My name is Erix.
Ah, I'm Rolo. This is my friend Cantriel. What happened?
Are you sent by Auriel?
No,
You have her mark.
we are doing a test so we can get rid of her.
I have a mark like yours, but it doesn't glow. And he pushes aside his poncho off to one side, and you can see just above the collarbone what looks like a birthmark that looks exactly like the snowflake emblem that is the symbol of Auriel. I was born on midwinter and was blessed by Auriel.
Being born in midwinter make you very special.
I don't have to worry about the cold.
It's because you're magic.
Are you
You
hurt
can
at
do
all?
anything.
He kind of smiles at Rolo and sort of pats Rolo's head. I'm not hurt. I'm just scared.
That's very fair.
Another tribe of the wolf challenged my mother, the chief. And they killed everyone. I hid in the snow. I stayed there for a long time because I don't get cold from it. They didn't see me, but I watched them kill everyone. And he kind of looks
Cantriel will-
outside the door where the two bodies, now charred bodies, are.
Cantriel will go over to him and sort of kind of keep him close, like sort of scoop him up onto her lap a little bit and like keep the covers over both of them and purposely turn him away from the opening.
Don't know what I'm supposed to do now. Everybody's
did-
gone.
What you did was very clever to survive.
And your tribe is not gone. Not yet. You still live. You are now the king of your tribe.
You know, you and I have something in common.
What's that?
I lost my entire family when I was young, and I'm the only one left. And I had to use my wits to keep going. Just like you did to keep living.
Loss
We're
is a
very
part.
brave.
Loss is a part of life. It is how we grow and move on.
But I don't have any tribe left.
Neither did I.
We're of the wolf tribe.
Yes. Of the wolf tribe.
But there was another wolf tribe, or the tribe split.
Isa Kronenstrom. One of the hunters. He convinced a portion of the tribe, some of our best hunters, to break away and form their own tribe. And he wants to call himself the king. They attacked and killed everyone here.
But not you.
Drown. Where you're standing over by the door, you said?
Yeah.
Make me a perception check.
Okay. Cantriel, I am not. Oh, that's nice. I'm going to burn a domain die, and that gets me a natural 20 for a total of 19.
So, as you're standing there and he's telling his story and he talks about this, you see movement out of the corner of your eye. It's not the vultures. You've clocked the vultures. They're still circling overhead. About maybe 50 feet away, just over a little bit of a rise at the edge of the camp, you see a figure standing there.
Just standing.
He calls out, "Little King! I know you're still in there. Come out and face what is coming to you. Your tribe is no more. I will be the new king." And then he seems to notice you, Drown.
Jake, does Cantriel hear this?
Everybody hears it at this point.
She, hearing this, will cast Mage Armor on the boy.
Okay. So that gives him what?
Base AC becomes 13 and Dexterity modifier.
Okay. As soon as this voice calls out, he leans heavily into you, Cantriel, as he's sitting on your lap. That's him. That's Esau. He's come to kill me.
Yes, but he has a problem. You're not alone.
What are the rules for challenging you as rightful king of your tribe?
He has already challenged by separating the tribe. Everybody's dead. There is no challenge left. There are no rules.
You could make us members of your tribe. And then we can fight him too.
He clearly does not think that the job is finished. He's returned. He seems
Is he
to
alone, Jake?
He appears to be alone, yes.
he seems to think that he needs to remove you from the power of kingship.
From outside, Drown, you see this individual start pacing around the edge of the camp. You found yourself somebody to fight for you, huh? It makes no difference. I will kill them all the same.
Then come forward. If you're so certain.
He looks at you, Drown.
Courageous would-be killer of children.
He leans back his head and he just goes,
Oh, as he does that, Cantriel takes Arviatrus' scale out of her pouch and just frisbees it so it lands at his feet.
Keep in mind, you are inside a tent.
You said the flat was opening.
Yeah.
So, like a frisbee, she's gonna fling it out.
Oh, okay. Make a ranged attack.
Okay. That is going to be nothing. Math net, hold on. 19.
And what is it? Does it do anything, or is it just a scale?
It's just a pure trophy. It's a
Yeah,
massive
okay.
scale from Arviatrus.
It shows we killed a dragon.
Oh,
Okay.
was that the sound?
I was
of
just
him
double
catching it in
checking.
His teeth.
No,
Okay.
it sort of lands in the snow, not far from him, a few feet away. In answer, he howls again as he raises a heavy crossbow.
How far away is he?
He's about 50 feet away. So
He
I'm
is
gonna.
Batman, yes?
What?
Rolo fire.
Rolo asks the child.
He is Batman, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
And she bounds over to the door next to Drown.
All right, you have a choice. You can roll for initiative, or we can roll for initiative next week.
Ooh.
Ooh.
It's 11:15, which is why I'm asking
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, let's do next week.
Yeah.
I have to
That
work
makes
early.
sense.
Okay. That's
Sorry.
why I wanted to check. I kind of had to see where this was going to go, how it was going to go. So as Drown's standing there, Cantriel's whipped this dragon scale out, and it's landed in the snow. He laughs and howls. Rolo gets confirmation that he's bad and kind of peers out.
I picture her head kind of sticks between Drown's legs, and her little arms come up and do this.
And that's a great place to end the session then. So we will pick up with the continuation of the third test of the Frostmaiden. I almost called tonight's session Test of the Frostmaiden Part 1, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
But we'll finish this up next Thursday. I do believe that we will be sans Talmud. But I think by now we all know what Talmud's order of operations are.
It's not complicated to play.
Nope.
So we get the guy high up in the air. Talmud jumps on his back and rises
Exactly.
down to the ground.
Exactly.
Can he fly?
That's what I'm pretty sure is the MO, yeah.
Cantriel can make him fly.
Perfection.
Make the bad man fly. All right. Well, this was I was going to say this was a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun playing with you, but parts of the session weren't necessarily fun per se. Elements of darkness always when dealing with Auriel and everything she stands for. But fantastic role play. As always, this obviously was a very role play heavy game tonight. Thank you for everybody who joined us tonight, who stuck with us. Thanks to the kindness of all the wonderful subs and bits and all that good stuff. We're up over 100 subs now. Looks like we have some new friends tonight from people that found us and followed us. If you haven't done so already, I encourage you to hit that follow button. We're here every Thursday night, and I run Scribes and Scrolls, the Candlekeep Mysteries, with a different group of players on Monday nights at 8 p.m. So you can check that out as well. Does anybody have any events coming up that they want to promote before we start to head out of here?
And I gave a shout out to D4.
Sure, of course.
Awesome, thank you. Every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I am on the D4 stream, which is on twitch.tv/rockpunchatl or twitch.tv/D&D. We are a canon lore focused game that is kind of like Faerun meets Call of Cthulhu. I guess is a good way to describe it. It's a lot of fun. It's a wonderful group, and we are run by dual DMs, Dustin and Devin, who simultaneously DM the game, and they are amazing to watch. They're wonderful DMs. So if you're free Sunday nights at 7, swing on by and come hang out with us.
And they create a bunch of amazing physical terrain.
Oh my god, their terrain maps are amazing. They
Awesome.
are so good. The last one had a glowing portal and like ice fog and shards of ice, and it was incredible.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely check that out. Also on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. until 11, I can be found over on Talon and Claw, where we are sailing the seas in Sea of Thieves with Anthony and Gary and Travis. I know another place you can find myself, V, and Ted is over on Nerdarchy, Nerdarchy Live, actually. Currently, our next game is scheduled in a couple weeks. I believe August 13th is our next game. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Head over to the Nerdarchy Live YouTube channel, where you can find us over there as Ted DMs us in our untraditionally arcane game where I play a beardomancer.
Nice.
Ordo Wonderbeard. If
Ordo
anybody
is-
was going to play a beardomancer, it should be me.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, again, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. And if you are one of those folks who was just lurking and not participating in the chat, that's awesome. Thank you. We appreciate that. And hope you're enjoying our game every week. And of course, as always, I want to thank Dan, V, Ted, Goblin Katie, and Jeremy, without whom it would just be me talking to myself for 3 hours. With that, and with Goblin Katie's
I have a beard.
not real
I'm a
beard,
beardomancer. Oh wait, let me.
we're going to go ahead and end the stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want.
Metadata. Fivation.